Hey, I'm Hunt, and this is Hunt on LSU, your channel for LSU Fighting Tiger football talk. Enjoy the video. We want you to leave a comment below, hit that like button, and subscribe right below the video. Enjoy. Let's talk some football with Preston Guy. Covers the Tigers for Tiger Bait. Preston, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. A lot of excitement this morning coming from the football team.
Where do you stand on it? Do you care? Is it a bad thing? Is it a good thing? Obviously, Brian Kelly wasn't too thrilled with it.
As long as the story exists of Joe Burrow getting in a fight with Devin White,
Yeah.
I'm good with it. Like there's roles guys play on the team, and you mean to tell me your middle linebacker is testosterone filled, aggressive male, getting chippy with other aggressive males in 110-degree weather? You color me shocked. And yes, I hear what Brian Kelly is saying. He's not happy about it. Your head football coach shouldn't be happy about it. Like, what's he supposed to say? Like, good job, guys, knocking each other out. This is a constructive way to build a football team. No, you want him, being stern and swift to handle these things and get them ironed out so you can, have an organized football team. It doesn't bother me at all.
Has there been a big takeaway of yours after a week of LSU camp? Something on either side of the ball that's kind of stood out to you?
Yeah, what stood out to me is the offense appears to have the upper hand. I was talking to Mike Scarborough, our site owner, about it, who was out there today. I was like, man, offense seems to really have the upper hand so far based off everything I've seen. His rebuttal was, yeah, but they just got in shells today. They're not in full pads. The pass rush can't really impact the game yet. So I am looking forward to see if that is, more of a result of it being so much veteran experience returning on that offensive side of the ball, and they really do have the upper hand, or if it's just that the defense can't really play full football right now.
You think that Jaden Daniels is the best quarterback in the SEC?
Preseason, he definitely is. On paper, we'll see, man. It's like you always have a guy come out of nowhere and turn out to be a pretty darn strong quarterback. So we'll see about that. The Ole Miss guy is someone I've got an eye out, even though he's transferring from Oklahoma State. Keep an eye out for him.
Yeah, Spencer Sanders is going to be interesting. Jackson
Yeah.
Dart, Walker Howard up there. That's it's a crowded room, as they say up there in Oxford. Speaking of crowded rooms, LSU's running back room is that. How do you expect that to be handled as they enter the season?
Hopefully, very well. But you've got 7 guys now. John Emery is indeed back. I wasn't relying on him being back just because it's been so inconsistent over the years, but he's back. Trey Bradford is back. They actually named him Freak of the Week the other day, so that's a lot of depth. And, of course, the 2 freshmen you're adding in. Will Marnie Goodwin finally have a season where he stays healthy? You've got a lot of guys you're talking about, and you only need 4. You look at that's the magic number for Brian Kelly in a running back room. He uses 4 guys, 40 or more carries every single year. So as long as you've got 4 guys able to give you good SEC carries, you're in good shape, and you've got 7 guys who might be able to do that. So I really like where they stand. Logan Diggs is a guy from Notre Dame Brian Kelly's familiar with. He looks like he has the advantage of being the first running back. We shall see. I would like to see a little bit more top-end type talent. There's no Fournette or Geis on this roster, which I think LSU fans have grown accustomed to over the years. But you do have a lot of really good players.
Who do you think's going to lead him in rushing from a running back perspective?
Diggs. Probably Diggs, but we'll see. It'll be close. Williams is going to be right there, Josh Williams, because he's such a good blocking back and so reliable, good out of the backfield. I don't necessarily believe there's going to be a 1,000-yard rusher on this team because they're going to rotate them so much. You've got so many good players. Do what you did in 2011. Keep them all fresh. Rotate them all out. A fresh guy who's, 80% as good as the best player. Well, if he's fresh, if the other guys had 30 carries, he's probably better at that point. So keep rotating them out. I think you're going to see a lot of guys, in the, 300 to 800-yard mark this year.
Last year, as a quarterback, Jaden Daniels ran for 885 yards. Do you think he runs for fewer than that or more than that this year?
Well, you have to think that goes down, right? I mean, a lot of that was out of necessity with the offensive line having its struggles and Jaden Daniels having trouble working through his reads. He got a little happy feet, and a lot of times he's such an athlete, he just bailed him out. I would think I mean, he's still a runner, and you're still going to use him as a runner. The other thing was last year you did a lot of design runs because you didn't have the running back depth you wanted. So you had to use Jaden Daniels to supplement that. 600 yards or so on the ground, and I think passing yards we could see maybe 3,500 or so. So a good 4,000-yard season is what I would expect.
Chatting with Preston Guy from TigerBait.com, covers the Tigers for TigerBait over there. Defensively, who's the best corner on the roster?
Boy, I don't know. A lot of people were buzzing about J.K. Johnson before he he's on a scooter today.
Yep.
So we don't know when we're going to see him back, but he was looking really good in practice. Man, I'm going to go maybe Zy Alexander, the transfer out of Southeastern. I've heard nothing but good things out of him, but there's a lot of other players who could fill in that role. That's going to be like running back. There's a lot of good players, and it's a tight competition.
You think Javian Toviano plays a bunch this year?
Yeah, somewhere. He's at safety right now, and safety, there's less depth than corner, so you figure there'll be opportunities. I am curious to see if they play him at nickelback to get him out there, or if the depth at corner is just too overwhelming and he has to stick to a pure safety spot.
What about Sage Ryan?
Is this the year?
Yeah.
Is this the year he turns it up? He will be on the second team safety, and it'll be interesting to see, does he go in or does Taviano go in first if there's an injury? I tend to think Sage Ryan will play the strong. If the strong goes down, that's Greg Brooks. Sage will go in. If the free goes down, Taviano will go in. We'll see. It just depends on how interchangeable they feel those guys are. I do know that this is his make or break season, because he thus far he has not played up to his 5-star billing, and it's going to be interesting to see if he turns it up and plays like he was recruited.
Do they have enough pass rush?
Interior, they got some of the best pass rush in the country. You got Mason Smith and Mekhi Wingo. Talk about two dudes in the middle. We'll see on the outside. Again, it's another one of those spots where they've hit that transfer portal so well that you've got a lot of good players. I don't know that defensive end you have that guy, all-American pass rusher. But you have Harold Perkins, who is going to supplement that on the outside. I know they're playing him at middle linebacker. They're going to find a way to get him after the quarterback. So anytime you have a really good interior pass rush, that really frees up your backers. I mean, because you have to double team a guy like Mason Smith. Interior pass rushing, man, it's just it opens up so much for your defense.
It seems like there's a little bit of buzz around Omar Spates and what he's going to add to the middle of the defense. Where do you land on the Oregon State transfer?
Well, you added a guy with 100+ tackles, and Power 5 football. A guy who had almost no missed tackles last year. If you are in the box with Omar Spates, you're going to the ground. The big issue with him, the knock on him, was his pass coverage. So we'll see how he evolves in pass coverage, or perhaps maybe they put him in more situations where he can handle the pass coverage better. We'll see, but that's one of the best transfers you could pick up for that linebacker spot, especially after DeMario Tolan hit the portal and went to Auburn.
The last guy I want to talk about, and then we'll get to some big picture stuff here, is Aaron Anderson, the transfer from Alabama. We've seen some video of him. LSU football put a video out over the weekend of him taking a little slip screen and moving around. I saw him last week, and he had a sleeve on his knee, but looked pretty healthy to me. What have been your impressions, and what role does Aaron Anderson have on this team?
Glad you brought up that video. I also saw that video, and so I filmed Aaron Anderson in high school for Edna Carr, and I remember thinking, that looks familiar. So he did the same exact thing for Edna Carr. He'd just take a little bubble screen, make a guy or two miss, and boom, he's up the seam, man. It is good to see him looking not just good in playing, but looking very healthy, because there were some question marks as to would he come back 100%. You really want to see him returning kicks. He is an outstanding kick returner. So I would love to see him able to field those kicks. And drastically upgrade that position. I don't think that position, I've never seen it that bad at LSU as it was last year. I mean, you literally got to the point where fans were applauding a fair catch. So hopefully that can not only be not a liability to turn over the ball, but a threat for coverage teams this year with Aaron Anderson. And also, I do think the top 3 receiver spots are pretty much locked down. You got Neighbors, you got Thomas, and you got Kyron Lacey. They seem to be pretty entrenched. I do think that 4th receiver spot is going to be something that's up for grabs. Does Aaron Anderson take that spot? We'll see.
Yeah, we shall see. We kind of tap danced around the entire roster there, and I wanted to lead it to this question where Brian Kelly was asked a couple of weeks ago, how close are you to building a championship-level roster? And he said, we probably need 1 more year. That kind of surprised me to hear that, but guys got some pretty good job security. What did you make of that comment, and where do you think they are as a program right now?
I think it's a lot of coach speak. A lot of me went back and forth with that. Maybe he sees holes we don't. I look at this roster, and I think that this is one that's pretty close to competing for a championship. We saw the coaches poll. They came out and were number 5. That's even higher than I was expecting. I thought it was going to be number 7. But, you know, we saw since media days that the media, teams, coaches, they're throwing a lot of flowers at LSU's feet. You know, they saw how many guys were all SEC. They saw, you know, Jaden Daniels is the consensus best quarterback in the conference preseason. LSU's getting a lot of respect, and I tend to believe that because this is the coaches poll, and the coaches are obviously looking at LSU's roster and they're putting them that high, I think that just kind of further solidifies my opinion that it was indeed coach speak. I think he's just trying to, you know, be anti-rat poison.
One more big picture, I'll leave it open-ended for you. Is there anything that you're looking for over the next 3 weeks as far as practice and scrimmages and media availability? Is there anything that any part of the roster, any player you're specifically paying attention to?
You know who I'd really like to see get involved with this offense is Caleb Jackson. He is a track speed star, and when you see him on the field, it's hard not to be physically impressed. Now, numbers on paper, they don't jump out at you. He's going to be 5'10". He's 205. That sounds run-of-the-mill. He doesn't have an inch of fat on his body. Can he break into that talented lineup? I don't know. I'll tell you who else I'm looking for. Here's an interesting one. Lance Hurd. And it seems like to me if the plan was to not have him find a way into this starting offense, they would just plug him as the backup left tackle, let him practice at his natural position, and that's that. In practice, he's been playing right tackle. Why is he playing right tackle instead of left tackle if the plan is to just have him be the backup? I suspect that they're keeping an eye on him to see if they can work him into a starting tackle position, because it would be less likely that Will Campbell somehow gets shuffled around. I think he's pretty entrenched as a left tackle. It would be more likely to see you shuffle Emory Jones, who was recruited as an interior offensive lineman. It'd be more natural for him to slide inside somewhere. So we'll see. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. I'm keeping an eye out on it.
Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.